We take a roll call. We're going to quorum. I'd like each director to acknowledge their presence. Walton Chesky, present. Andy Reynolds.
Present.
Steve Lawrence.
Present.
Jim Beers.
Present.
Okay, we have a quorum. Will you kindly join me as we honor our country and state flags?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I Texas flag, pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one day, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you very much. All right, I'll officially call the meeting to order. Do you have anyone from the public sign up? Okay, do we have any adjustments this morning? All right, it's easy. All right, consent agenda. Does any director want any item removed or discussed on the consent agenda? If not, can I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve the consent agenda. Second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Moving to the regular agenda, receive the regular monthly SJRA division report. Good morning.
Hey, everyone. Again, I'm Malia Good over from SJRA, Utility Enterprise Division. Chris is out this morning, so I'm going to tell you about our January monthly operating report. We had no violations or issues in the month of January. Also during Winter Storm Fern, our staff was on site 24 hours a day, monitoring all our critical infrastructure and equipment, and we had no issues during the storm, which was great news. Another interesting note on your monthly operating report is our monthly water production for the month of January was the highest it's been in over 10 years. So very high January usage. We also, in the next coming months, SJR is preparing the 10-year project plan, probably in May for y'all, and then the Woodlands Division budget review in June. You also had a memorandum in your packet going over the excess funds. The trustees did vote to return those funds to all the MUDs. So that'll be happening after the February 28th deadline to make sure that we meet the criteria for 90%, which looks like we should meet. So after that time, that will go to the SJRA board, and then those checks should be returned to the MUDs. I would entertain any questions y'all might have.
Anybody have any questions? Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right, item 10, consider an act to pay application number 5.
Yes, if I could take number 10 and 11 together, but just,
Yeah.
first one is a, estimate number 5. MUD 1 did have some work, only about $3,200 worth, after retainage, their share of the total estimate number 5 was $125,951, of which your share is $3,040. So I need a motion to make that. Also, with that, a change order number 1 to add 60 days to the contract. They had some issues getting permits with the county originally. So the motion for both of those.
Why did they ask for a extension?
They were having issues that delayed them throughout the project to get permits from the county on traffic control. And anytime that some of the work that's being done is not in the road right away, and some is, and the work that is needs approvals and coordination with the county. So it took a little bit longer than they expected originally or throughout the project. So we don't have a problem with the change order.
All right.
Recommend both.
Got a motion to accept
So moved.
on both items.
Yeah.
Second,
Second.
and all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, motion's carried. Thank you. Moving on to item 12, adoption, the amendment policy regarding rates for water service.
Yes, that's just to change or make the adjustment in the rates to document that the SJRP fee is reducing by 11 cents. And then be adding to the bill or to the water bill infrastructure renewal fee of exactly 11 cents that will be utilized to help pay for the first tranche of the water renewal. So need a motion to make that change in RNS 12. RNS 12 is where the water rates are documented.
Okay. Does anybody have any comments or questions?
Why are we changing that? What, it's just a mathematic thing, right? I mean, it's just a county change.
Well,
Transparency.
we're making the change for transparency to show the public that, the public knows that the 11 cents was reduced in the GRP fee. So we want to translate that transparently, I guess, and then show where it's going.
I mean, if we accept the changes.
Anyone?
Yeah.
I move we adopt the amendment.
All right, I'll second that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Item 13, discuss regarding consolidation of with month 6 and month 36. I've had a conversation with Deborah Sargent on month 6 and Pete Perez on month 36. And both of them were going to bring it up with their boards. And we tried sometime before to do with month 6 and made it to the polls. So there's a lot of documentation out there that we'll try to gather and pass it to everyone so you can understand the process of what went on.
I had an idea about that. When Hartley and Bob left our board, a wealth of institutional knowledge walked out the door too, and they were part of at least one consolidation, correct? If
Yeah.
not more.
They were.
If we have, 3 MUDs that want to do this, would it be wise to maybe get Bob and Hartley together and maybe help us put a proposal together of what that looks like, because they've been through it before?
That's outstanding.
Yeah,
Just an idea.
More brains working, the better.
What's the advantage of consolidating these 3 months? I mean, is there an advantage that comes to mind?
reduce cost for one.
Yeah, because we reduce the representation for all these people that are in all 3 MUDs. Instead of having 15 MUD directors, they'll have 5. Instead of having 3 trustee seats, they'll have 1.
Mhm.
So, I mean, that would be I think, negative.
I don't know. I see it the other way too, though, because if there's only 5 and we're all doing the same thing at all these meetings.
I mean, if you think about it, something affected this particular area, it would reduce our voice in the MUD, as a whole in the Woodlands.
I asked this last time, right? We're all 3 of these MUDs are MUDs that are financially sound and correct, right?
Well,
I mean, I don't know.
All the districts in the Woodlands are sound. I mean, they have different levels of reserves, so I think that's in the eye of the beholder there. MUD 36 is the only one that does have an outstanding bond issue. They do have a different rate tier.
Which one is that one?
MUD 36.
Okay.
But, I went through the process with MUD 1 and MUD 6. Bob was a legacy. Well, actually it was MUD 2, legacy MUD 2 and MUD 40. And Bob was the president of MUD 2 and Hartley was on MUD 40 when they combined to form MUD 1. And, there's always going to be arguments on both sides. I mean, I think both y'all touched on the main positions going for and against. So for is yes, you do have administrative efficiency, reduce redundancy of board meetings, of costs for all the administrative tasks that the districts have to undertake each year. So there are some savings there, but yes, Jim, to your point, I mean, you do reduce the amount of representation when you consolidate because each MUD gets 1 representative on the trustees. Yes, you do reduce. I mean, initially when you consolidate, you have 10 directors until the next regular meeting if you do 2 districts, and that's what happened with that one. So you have a period of time because you have the consolidation, and if it happens in May, or, even if it's November, you have, that 10 directors until the legacy directors from each consolidated MUD until the next MUD election cycle. And then it will reduce from 10 to 5. So you do have that reduction.
I'm curious, how would you resolve the rate discrepancies? I mean, if you have different rates in different MUDs, I mean,
Right. So so I mean, there's different ways to go about that. I think when we did that, or not, I know, but when we did that before with the consolidation, so there's provisions in the statute that will allow for you to segregate, if one district has, bonds, that's still paid by that district. But the thought process at the time was, look, that doesn't really, if the main thrust to do the consolidation is to achieve administrative efficiency, it doesn't really make sense to say, okay, we're going to consolidate, reduce the number of boards, but then we're going to keep all the financials siloed as to the individual MUDs before. So the agreement then was to blend all those districts, funds together post consolidation. So you did want to have somewhat similar financials, tax rates, et cetera, between the districts, so that you didn't have some residents thinking, oh, well, I'm getting hosed here, my taxes are going to go up if I consolidate, or this district is going to get the benefit of all my reserves or what have you. So you want financially similar districts. Now, when you come together, you probably, the districts that you're talking about, I don't know MUD 36 as much, but MUD 6 and MUD 1, my recollection was you're pretty close financially. So you could probably blend your tax rate to not be, a disadvantage to one or the other. And even if you had to use some level of reserves for that first year to equalize it, until you came back around to levy. Again, we'd have to do a little bit deeper look into it, get Adam involved, but you could probably navigate that without too much, perception of one district, getting a better financial deal than the other. I think 36 would take, a closer look because they have outstanding debt, because their reserves are at a bit of a different level, and they do have a different, rate structure right now. So, but again, that's just preliminary off the cuff. We'd have to go back and look at it more closely.
Yeah, that's my understanding is when 2 and 40 combined, this process it probably took about 18 months at least. And then it can only be, it'll have to go to the voters, and then it would only be at, I guess, a May or a November election. So it wouldn't be happening this year. It would probably be May of next year at the earliest.
Yeah, we want enough time to educate your voters that they understand what they're.
so would the rates just simply wait until the next election? And then
What?
with the rate changes or blending,
Well, they would be adjusted at the next time you adopt your tax rate. So, if you're adopted, if you did the consolidation in May, then that would happen in November. If you had or not November, it would happen in August, September. If you consolidated in November, that kind of equalization process wouldn't, come back around until the next cycle.
And 1 and 6's tax rates are just over 6 cents, and MUD 36 is just over 4 cents. So not too far off. And there's some districts that are at 12, 15 cents. So I think from the point that Brian's making may not make sense at this point to combine a 4 or 6 cent district with a 15 cent district, because that would likely have a much greater gap between the two. But when you're looking at 6.1 and 6.4 and a 4.1, that starts to make a little bit more sense from a financial standpoint.
The other thing to keep in mind is it gets tricky if you're going for 3 into 1 as opposed to 2 into 1. I know we talked about that before with previous consolidation discussions, because if one of them votes it down, it could negate the entire consolidation. So just got to keep that in mind as well. But the cleanest way to do it is a May one, because then you've got some runway to be able to determine what your new blended tax rate will be in the fall, and then also to prepare for how you're going to handle the director election process. But definitely pros, and, you know, political, cons if you view that as a downside, but it's all in the eye of the beholder, right?
You know, from an efficiency standpoint, also the Woodlands built out. You know, they don't need 50 mud directors, you know, to run everything. And I think we owe it to the residents to look at it, you know, to see how we can become more efficient without working in silos with 10 different muds, because it is built out now.
Well, you talk about cost, and I mean, there's some costs that are just internal, but for instance, and again, I'm not advocating one way or the other. I've seen it, you know, but work and folks say no. But for instance, this cycle, each of the three districts are talking about having contested mud elections. Those elections are pretty expensive now. I think they're going like 40 grand or so since the last time I checked. So yeah.
I think the last time I did cost was like 45,000.
Yeah.
Do with that.
So, you know, that's a cost if you have a contested election, you're 1 versus 3. So 40 versus, you know, 120 or so. And again, that's rough numbers just going off of memory, but those types of things, I mean, are they hugely material when you got a multi-million-dollar budget? No, but you know.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I like your idea. What do we need to do to make that happen? How about you and Hartley and Lilac? Kind of.
I mean, I don't know.
Just invite them to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys approach either one of them. I mean, if
I
I
should
say
give them a
no,
call and see if they're interested in doing it. And do you put them under a consulting contract or
no.
you don't have to?
My guess is.
Volunteering their time to.
I mean, from a legal perspective, Brian went through this process before, so I don't know that we even need it, but I think there's probably some good perspective there on how, you know, the communication went with the residents and those types of things. That experience probably would be beneficial. But as far as going through the process, I think.
Yeah, the legal steps are pretty straightforward. It's more about the interaction with your constituents. How did they go through and educate the members of the community about the election before it came up? What were some of the things that they dealt with, challenges and what have you? Because as Walt mentioned, we've had a successful one and we've had an unsuccessful consolidation attempt between Mud 1 and Mud 6. So I think that perspective is really where they would be able to provide some value and insight for y'all.
All right, I'll contact them, see if they're interested in, but I think it's a good idea. Maybe,
Thank you.
I mean, they've been through it, you know, and I know they probably have a lot of documentation, you know, that would help us prevent reinventing the wheel again. I mean, I go through it, it's already been done.
Okay.
Okay. So we're all in agreement with that then?
I'm getting into the bottom again. Right? Yeah.
Yeah. We don't need to vote on that, do we?
Can I ask one more question?
Yeah.
If we go down this path, is there a time where the 3 muds meet or everybody meets separately and talks about it separately?
We
Can do
that.
both.
Okay.
So I seem to recall, memory's a little hazy from back then, but I do seem to recall we had a joint mud meeting back at some point during the Mud 2 and Mud 40 consolidation where we had 10 directors meet and discuss. And Nathan, when we called the election, I can't recall, but I do seem to recall that we had all the directors there. Yeah, but it would have to be we post 2 agendas for meetings at the same time here, and we basically meet together to discuss it if things progressed.
Yeah, we actually could have we could call a special meeting and we can invite the public too. I mean, it's open meeting.
Correct.
So invite any of the public who wants to attend and would listen. We're not trying to hide anything.
Right.
So. All right, good. Moving on to item 14.
Yes, sir. So as I mentioned, we, the 3 districts that you're mentioning with consolidation have contested elections. We ended up with 5. The candidate filing period ended at 5 o'clock on Friday. So we have Mud 1, 6, 7, 36, 67. Is that all of them, Shelley? All right, so next steps will be for the timing of the drawing, and so that'll be worked on here. I think the notice will go out tomorrow for the notice of the drawing for the ballots, and then that will take place on what day is that? Looks like Monday, February 23rd will be the drawing to determine the order on the ballot. So those are the next steps. Happy to answer questions if you have them.
How many people have submitted their, for
I have
one?
not gotten the final list of all the candidates. I just know which districts have contested elections, but I haven't seen the final roster of who all followed yet. Shelley may have it.
I do, but I don't totally.
Long list.
Thank God.
All right, so we got 3 folks for MUD 1, and there's 2 positions. So that's how we ended up with a contested election for this district. See how it shakes out, but.
Okay. Anything else?
That's all I have.
Okay, received the general manager's report.
All right, just a couple items to go over. I began discussions with the trustees last week to talk about a recommendation that I'm going to propose to them to request of the GRP that we request up to about 55% surface water. So that's something that I'll be putting on the next trustee meeting agenda. We're at 50-50. We've been like that for about the past 4 years or so. We originally started at 65%. We're having some issues with disinfection byproducts, as my understanding. And then SDRA is completing their disinfection byproduct analysis that will truly tell us what numbers we could go to in the future if we so chose. At the GRP level, in the last 6 months, there's been significant increase in requests by other entities in the area, requesting additional surface water capacity out of that plant. And they're getting to the point where that plant is near its capacity. So there's not much left to request. I'd like to get in on it before it gets, before the plant is maxed out. So that's part of the reason why I'm proposing this, but more to come. Just wanted to let you know that I'd be proposing that next month at the trustee meeting.
How much reserve capacity is there at the groundwater company?
About 1 million MGD, and not a 30 MGD.
And the requests are from what, private entities or?
No, different MUDs.
Okay.
Yeah, different MUDs, mostly MUDs along the east of 45, along the kind of Rayford corridor, 88, 89, Scud, 94, 99. Those are just to name a few. And south has also requested additional capacity as well, up north.
So I mean, are there requests less than the million? I'm just curious. I mean, what's the press? Well, okay, if you've got people out there that want this groundwater and you got 1 million, yeah, 1 million left. No, you know what?
Those requests have
Yeah.
eaten away all but about 1 million.
Okay.
If my understanding is.
Okay.
So if we were to go to 55%, that would be about 750,000 a day. So that takes most of it. If we were to go to 1 million GD additional requests, that would go to about 56.6%. So still, I think in good shape in terms of disinfection byproducts. But that's kind of where we're at. Next item was, I just want to give you an update. We started last month doing some brush cutback on a lot of the ditches, and I guess back in October, November, we started a lot of the pipe work. So you'll start to see quite a bit of that going on. And we have started some in MUD 1. We're having a little slow run at getting, and that we're utilizing contractors to do that. And, as you recall, we were going to be building a ditch crew that would do some of the lighter work. We had hired one individual back, I think in November or so, and been kind of slow to get candidates. We actually attended the Conroe Lake Conroe Chamber career fair last week, or was it week before last, and have gotten some significantly good interviews. In fact, we have two offers out and they both accepted. So they'll be starting here in the next couple of weeks and we can get that crew rolling on the stuff that we intended to do, which was some of the lighter work that our equipment can handle. So more to come on that.
You ever think about going to the local high schools or anything, see if kids graduating, whether they'd be interested in?
We, in a roundabout way, we've had discussions with Lone Star, which is really kind of where that individual would likely go, because Lone Star is working on a program for folks like that to get technical skills, but not necessarily maybe a full degree in finance or something, but want to go in the technical route. So we're talking to them as well. And then there's also a group through AWBD that I learned about last month at the conference that facilitates those same individuals in taking a career in this path in water. So we're looking over that as well. So
Awesome.
update on the SFDU eval for water reclamation facility number 1. Just want to let you know that Kim and I completed our work last month. We just got back, I guess, yesterday, a evaluation from Howard Hughes on some questions we had on allocations for some future developed tracks. So we're going to be working with that, and then we'll meet with Esther, just kind of show them what we found, and then we'll be bringing that back to the trustees next month, is what I expect. So we'll be able to start talking a little bit more about that here very, very soon. We started a retail rate study. We did one back in 2023, and we have initiated that same consultant to do an update of that for us this year, and that'll be going on over the next few months. Ideally to be complete in time to look at our budgets so that we can incorporate any changes if we see any in the budget, and then they wouldn't, if there were some rate changes, they would go into effect January 27. So we're just starting that process right now. And that's all I had for the general manager report. I've got 16 also, but I'm gonna have John go over communications and we'll hit 16.
Good morning. Did everyone get a chance to grab a hard copy of your annual update? So you've got a communications report on page 60. Just a couple highlights there, then we'll talk about the update. You'll see that I've brought forward more metrics on our various communication channels. So if you have questions about any of that, let me know. I'll do that for you quarterly, so you can see how we're performing. And then there's an in-person outreach calendar on page 64 to see where we're going to be out in the community the next couple months. So the update, hopefully everyone got a chance to go through that. Really just today, I want to see if there's any additional comments, questions, edits, so that we can print
I
this.
think what we'd like to do is, we have the elected mud board, of course, take off Bob.
Yeah, I gotta script that, yeah.
Okay, but we also would like to put in there to remind people that there's an election coming up so that they know about that. And also, since Bob is no longer here, the years of service, maybe remove the help residents save money with Water Smart. I mean, if they don't know that by now, they're never going to do it. And maybe use that space to put a comment about
Thank you,
Bob's
Bob.
years of service and how we appreciate what he did.
Bet. So yeah, we'll scrub him from the elected mud board. Put a note in about the elections. A thank you to Bob in place of that Water Smart. Anything else you see there?
Well, and maybe it goes up in the 2025 accomplish, like thanking Bob up there, but we're just trying to create some space for you.
Yeah, you're right. That's probably better seated up there. Okay.
It looks great. Thanks for all
Okay.
the hard work on it.
Oh, yeah. I'll send this to you. Just make sure you like the wording, especially on the election aspect and Bob, and then, we'll do that BCC and then and then approve it remotely. And then this again will go out with this month's water bill. So I'll get this right to you here in the next, hopefully today. I'll put it in your inbox. So, okay.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, 18th, receive the trustees report. It's in your, the only thing, Arthur Bredoff talked about Region H, and that's pretty extensive in there, and then talked about the excess funds. That's about all that was discussed there, but you can read what else was in there.
Could go back up to 16. I didn't cover that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
All right, yeah, review and discuss proposal for SJRA GRP Global Amendment.
Yes, so last month we heard about that. I had requested comments by this week from directors. In the meantime, I've also reached out to Aubrey. Just felt like it would be good to maybe have some conversation with him on some perspective on how we got here and what the global means in the grand scheme of things. And so I've arranged for him to come and talk with some interested directors. What I'd propose is to put together a meeting probably in the next week, maybe next week, ideally next week if we can get it put together, for him to kind of explain, how we got here and what the global means. Would prefer it to be up to 2 directors. I'm not planning to have this be an open meeting, but at least we can get up to 2 directors and then we can obviously report back on what we learned. So if there's anyone that's interested in attending that, let me know and I'll get, what we'll likely do is send out one of those, what's it called? Doodle inquiries, the meeting scheduler it's hard to get this many people up to 10 or so in the meeting with scheduled stuff. So we usually use that to.
I'd like to attend.
Okay. Anyone else?
Can we do a? Go ahead, I'm sorry.
You're interested in going?
Could we do a Zoom call with him on one of these and he can address each one of the mugs? I mean, he could do it from his office and.
No, he'd prefer to do it in person.
Okay. I'm just saying, I mean, you can do each one of the mugs if you.
That it'd be too cumbersome. He'd prefer to do it as one.
Okay.
We'll reach out to y'all and we'll report back.
All right. Any comments? Okay, no need to close session. Okay. Item 21, matters on future agenda. Okay. Do you have a comment about the election you want to make?
Oh, yeah. Everybody out there, today's the first day of early voting for the March primary. And hope to see everybody out there.
And the new early voting location?
Well, there's several of them.
Yeah.
But the main difference is actually it was last election was the first time. It's at the Brady Library. That's the main difference.
And the other library as well.
And remember, on early election, you can vote in any place, but if you wait until the election, you have to vote at your precinct.
In the Mitchell Library.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's been.
First primary cycle, I think.
Anything else?
We're just gonna keep that discussion about the consolidation on the agenda, just to keep it
Yes.
going. Okay.
Rolling.
All right, item 22, motion to adjourn.
Well moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Thank you, everyone.